Imagine you're playing a board game with your friends. Everyone starts with the same amount of money. The rules are clear. You earn, you spend, and sometimes you lose. But halfway through the game, one friend runs out of cash. Instead of accepting defeat, he quietly reaches into his pocket and pulls out extra money. The room explodes. Everyone shouts, "Hey, that's cheating!" The game instantly breaks because the rules no longer matter. Now, imagine a country doing the exact same thing. Some countries create trillions of new dollars, euros, or yen, and the system keeps running. Shops stay open, prices rise a little, but life goes on. Meanwhile, other countries print a small amount of extra money, and suddenly bread prices double, fuel becomes unaffordable, and savings turn into dust. The same action leads to completely different outcomes. This feels unfair. If printing money is bad, why doesn't it destroy rich countries? And if printing money helps solve problems, why don't poor countries just do the same thing? This question confuses millions of people because it seems logical. If you need money, just make more. But money doesn't work like normal objects. It doesn't behave like food or fuel or houses. So today, we're answering the big question, why rich countries can print money and poor ones can't, explained as simply as possible. When people hear printing money, they imagine giant machines spitting out paper notes day and night. That image is outdated. In modern economies, almost all money is digital. It lives inside computers, bank accounts, and financial systems. When a country prints money, its central bank doesn't start a printing press, it presses buttons. A central bank can create new money by buying government bonds, lending to banks, or injecting cash into the financial system. With a few keystrokes, billions or even trillions of new units of currency appear. This money flows into banks, businesses, and eventually into people's pockets. This sounds extremely dangerous, and honestly, it is. Creating money out of nothing can destroy an economy if done recklessly. But here's the key point. Printing money itself is not automatically bad. It's like fire. Fire can cook food and keep you warm, or it can burn your house down. The difference isn't fire, it's control. Some countries have systems strong enough to handle new money. Others don't. The moment new money appears, it changes how people behave. They either stay calm or they panic. That reaction is what determines whether printing money helps or destroys an economy. To understand why reactions are so different, we need to talk about the real foundation of money. At its core, money is not value. Money is a promise. A small piece of paper or a digital number has no real use by itself. You can't eat it. You can't wear it. You believe it has value only because everyone else does. When you hold a 100 rupee note, you trust that shops will accept it tomorrow. You trust that the government will protect its value. You trust that the economy will still function. That trust is invisible, but it's everything. Without it, money instantly becomes useless. Now, here's the crucial difference between countries. Rich countries have spent decades building trust. Their governments are relatively stable. Their institutions usually work. Their laws are predictable. People believe that even if problems happen, the system will recover. So when these countries create new money, people don't immediately panic. In poorer or unstable countries, trust is fragile. People have seen currencies collapse before. They've experienced corruption, sudden policy changes, and broken promises. So when new money appears, people don't think, this will help the economy. They think, my savings are about to lose value. This difference in trust completely changes how money behaves. High trust absorbs money. Low trust amplifies damage. Money doesn't break economies. Broken trust does. Rich countries can print money because their money is deeply connected to the global system. Take the United States as the biggest example. The US dollar is not just used in America, it's used everywhere. Oil is traded in dollars. International trade happens in dollars. Central banks around the world store dollars as reserves. This global demand creates a massive safety net. When the US prints money, it doesn't stay inside the country. It spreads across the world through trade, investment, and reserves. This reduces pressure at home. It's like pouring extra water into a huge ocean instead of a small bucket. The ocean absorbs it. Another reason is economic strength. Rich countries produce enormous amounts of goods and services. They have strong companies, advanced technology, and high productivity. When new money enters the system, it often leads to more investment, more jobs, and more production. That extra output helps balance the extra money. Finally, credibility matters. When a rich country's central bank says it will control inflation later, people believe it. Investors stay calm. Businesses keep planning for the future. This belief acts like a brake system, preventing runaway inflation. Printing money works here not because it's harmless, but because trust, scale, and strength hold everything together. In poorer or unstable countries, printing money triggers fear instead of confidence. People remember past crises. They've seen prices skyrocket overnight. So the moment new money appears, behavior changes fast and aggressively. People rush to spend their money before it loses value. They convert local currency into dollars. They buy gold, land, or goods they can store. This sudden surge in spending pushes prices up almost immediately. Inflation accelerates, not slowly, but violently. The second problem is weak production. Many poorer countries rely heavily on imports for fuel, food, and manufactured goods. Printing money doesn't increase production, it just increases demand. When more money chases the same limited supply of goods, prices rise sharply. This inflation hits essentials first, hurting the poorest people the most. The third problem is currency collapse. Foreign investors lose confidence and pull their money out. The local currency weakens. Imports become more expensive. Fuel prices rise. Transportation costs explode, and inflation feeds on itself. What started as a simple attempt to solve problems with money turns into hyperinflation, poverty, and chaos. The system doesn't fail because money was printed. It fails because trust collapses instantly. Zimbabwe is a classic example of what happens when trust disappears. The government printed massive amounts of money to cover expenses. At first, it seemed helpful. Then prices began rising daily. Eventually, inflation became so extreme that people needed millions of dollars to buy basic food. Money lost meaning completely. Venezuela followed a similar path. To fund government programs, more money was created without increasing production. Confidence vanished. The currency collapsed. People carried bags of cash just to buy groceries. Savings were destroyed, and daily life became a struggle. Now compare this with the United States during COVID. The U.S. printed trillions of dollars to prevent economic collapse. Inflation did rise, but the system survived. Jobs returned. Businesses recovered. The currency remained trusted globally. The action, printing money, was similar. The result was completely different. Why? Because trust, production, and global demand acted as shock absorbers. These examples show that money creation doesn't exist in a vacuum. Context decides everything. Here's the simple rule most people never hear. Printing money is not the real danger. Losing trust is. Money is a tool, not a solution. When strong systems use it carefully, it can stabilize an economy. When weak systems rely on it desperately, it accelerates collapse. Rich countries don't print money because it's safe. They print money because people trust that it will be managed responsibly. Poor countries can't print money freely because trust disappears the moment they try. Money itself doesn't create value. Factories, workers, innovation, and productivity do. Money only represents that value. When value grows, money works. When value is weak, money lies. So the next time someone asks why poor countries don't just print more money, remember this: you can't print belief, credibility, or trust. Those things take decades to build and seconds to destroy.